live.
We are live.
Hey, Gordy, you interested in talking Scotch?
I'm always interested in talking a little Scotch.
Me too.
All right, Johnny.
Let's get to the business at hand.
Which is?
The Glenmorangie Tarlogan.
Tarlogan.
And that's probably being pronounced wrong, but that's okay. First thoughts about the Glenmorangie line are that I do like their, I think it's the 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 10.
The original, yeah.
Yeah, it never bothered me. Out of all those scotches that we'd had in the past, it was like, I like it. I never had a hate on it for like I did, quite a few of the other ones that we've got up there, which have changed my mind. But, this one never really bothered me.
No, it's always, when we learned to pronounce Glenmorangie, because for a long time...
Did I say Morangie?
No, I don't know if you did. I don't think you did you?
Maybe you've just learned to pronounce it that way.
It's true. But I remember when I started pronouncing Glenmorangie, I actually could taste orange citrus in the that 10, right?
I can smell it.
In this one?
I think I can smell a little bit of like Christmas orange.
Yeah. A little mandarin kicking.
Yeah.
Interesting. Zesty.
Sweet. I like the sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good nose.
It is a good nose. Very good. Yeah, very inviting, very... Do you catch any of the wood in the nose? The more I'm getting it now, too, I've got a bit of vanilla almost and a little,
vanilla for sure.
Yeah.
Not
creme
wood.
fraiche, maybe.
Not picking up the wood, though.
No, you're not catching that in there, eh?
Maybe in the high overtones, there's a little bit of wood going on there, but I'm not...
That fresh oak.
Nose is enough. Let's go in for... I'm going to go in for my first sip.
You're ready to roll, eh?
I think so.
Yeah.
Right?
Well...
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I enjoyed drinking it. I hope you do, too.
Well, you're giving it a 3, but that's...
Well, but there's, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, well, price matters.
Yeah, price and availability. It's a limited edition.
Yeah.
It came from travel retail. There's this is sort of a, I don't know if it'd be a collector in any way, but.
But the more I smell it, the more I like the nose.
Good.
All right, here we go.
All right.
I'm tasting the wood there.
Yeah.
Really strong. And it does taste like new wood. If whatever that is. But it, right out of a sawmill kind of.
The virgin oak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And it dominates the flavor when you drink it. That's what I noticed. And what about the finish on that?
I think I might have taken too big of a sip to just give it.
Fair enough.
I'm going to go smaller. Yeah, the wood is all through it to me. It goes right to the back of the throat.
Yeah. So enjoyable or not?
Yeah, it is enjoyable. But am I wrong? It almost has a bit of a sherry flavor to me. And I'm gonna go back to my sherry rants, but there's something. It's sweet, but it's still enjoyable. It's not a disgusting sherry flavor that turns me off.
Yeah. Yeah, there's. Maybe a bit of dried fruit, but. But again, the nose with the citrus and the honey and the bit of cream, and then all of a sudden, bam, when you put it down, you get a whole nother experience on the palate. Like at the beginning, there's like maybe just a bit of what you have in the nose, and then quickly it turns into something more intense, like I said, that tannin or like a different kind of mouthfeel going on. Kind of spices around in the, almost like tingles a little bit.
Does tingle.
Yeah.
There's a tingle there. It's a good drink.
Mm-hmm. I really like the way it coats my mouth when I drink it. Yeah.
This is what I was hoping for. That because, it's that stable concept where you like to talk about the whatever Glenmorangie, what represents that. If you could, they're not all like that. You can't say like, although I think you can. I think there is a distinctive taste throughout each name brand or, the main brand that sort of trails through them all. And this one does that. I don't know how many I've tasted. I did taste another one of these, and I think it was a special. I think it was at 18. Mm-hmm. And that was one of my cousin's favorite ones.
Was it the Singet?
The Singet.
There's a Glenmorangie Singet that's a really...
Is it 18 or maybe it was 15? I'm not even sure. But I know I tasted another one that was different than the 10. Is it the 10?
Yeah,
Pretty sure it's
the 10 is the original.
Yeah, the 10 is the original, and this one was better than that, was supposedly, and it was quite nice too.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more sherry even so than this. And I can't remember exactly which one it was, which is a shame, but this is better, I think, than that one that I had, and it rivals the other one. I want to taste the 10 now.
I know. Yeah, it'd be really neat to have that to compare to this one.
If I had to guess, I would say this one's better.
I would say. Just
Right?
because of I think the 43%, and I think the Glenmorangie is only a 40. But that makes a big difference because that intensity in the mouth, I think, comes a little bit from the alcohol.
Is it only a 40? That's disappointing.
The Glenmorangie 10?
Yeah?
It might be. Again, I could have that wrong.
Gee whiz, I hope that's not the case. That's disappointing. There's no excuse.
Well, I just have that feeling. Again, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, but you might be right, though.
If you think back to Glenmorangie, back when we first had our, back in the early 2000s when we were first into our whiskey, the Glenmorangie stood out because they had the 3 different finishes. And they were the only whiskey doing other types of wood finish. Mm. They had the port finish. They had 2 others. I can't remember both of them off the top of my head, but one was a portwood finish.
Yeah.
And there were 2 others. And, so credit to Glenmorangie for early in the game trying to use different types of cask finishes to come up with some different things.
Yeah.
So, the wine and the port flavoring on top.
I'm not getting that so much here, though, are you?
No, there's none of that.
No.
This one is done in ex-bourbon, which most whiskeys are done in, and then finished after that in virgin oak. So, again, I think the strength of the wood comes from the finish of the oak.
Well, that's something I think I need to remember. I got to store that up there, like the virgin oak. There is a presence there, and I'm not sure, but I'd like to know if that's what the process is that company does. Do they all taste like that if they use virgin oak? Or do any other, I don't even know if any other do. But that's a nice flavor.
Yeah.
This is a whiskey that is very pleasant. It's a solid whiskey. It's flavorful. And you're right, I just checked up, 40% in the 10.
Yeah.
Which is, a little disappointing. But there's some good notes here. Like, I mean, they're talking about even that one being pretty good. So if they've watered down that, a shame, regardless. But it still speaks to the nice flavor that it just inherently has.
Yeah, yeah. And in the little bit of reading that I did do, the master distiller at Glenmorangie is supposed to be really into his wood. Like, so he's very specific about casks and... Yeah, and I think that's, a trademark of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, no, I like that. I don't know, maybe it's just because I haven't had a scotch yet tonight, really, like a single malt. And
a good one?
I'm really enjoying it right now.
Yeah.
Really enjoying it.
That's awesome.
These notes on here, this is in the BC Liquor Store's description, but it says...
This is the Glenmorangie original.
This is the 10, yes. It says, fresh, vibrant, and beautifully complex. A clean, malty foundation, accentuated by bright, complex fruit, delicate spice, dried flowers, and gentle, honeyed vanilla notes that linger on the palate. This is a very wonderful whiskey, which is very versatile, but I can only imagine what it would taste like at 46 and unchill filtered, like wood finish expressions.
Ah. Interesting.
Right?
So
That's
right away,
interesting.
Well, yeah, because now you have to wonder about the Tarlogan and wonder if it's colored. You have to wonder if they've chill filtered it,
Yeah, we'll find that out.
Yeah.
I would, looking at the color, which, it's hard to say. It's not extremely dark.
No.
It's not a...
No, but when it was poured originally on the earlier video, I did notice like a coppery tinge that came through that kind of looked like a cool color. So whether that comes naturally from the woods or whether that's a colorant, we'll have to just do a little bit of research, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that's why they color it, to make it look cool. Like, it does have a nice look to it when it's a dark, rich, full color. But at the same time, I don't mind it. I have no problem when they just show us what it looks like.
That's actually encouraging now. When you have like a very pale looking whiskey in the glass, you're kind of like, oh, well, they didn't mess with it. And, so you're generally thinking it's going to be the real deal.
Every time it's going to be like that.
Yeah.
I did not mind that one bit.
No, delicious.
Very
delicious.
Delicious. This is the best way to put it. It is delicious.
Yeah. And the mouthfeel and the wood are playing big roles, and I think the 43% boosts it up enough that it feels like a legitimate single malt.
Yeah. I would like to taste it at its natural strength too, though.
Oh,
I think
for sure.
Can you imagine how big and just bountiful that flavor would be? It'd be huge.
Well, you never know. It could be too much, though, with the wood at, like a 58 or a 60 or
But
something.
what Scotch have you had that tastes like a whole bunch of wood? I know we've had a couple, but when you come right down to it, wood has tasted like wood. And I don't even, do I see it up here anymore? Oh yeah, the Auchentoshan.
Yeah,
I remember we talked
no,
about,
that's the only one.
American wood, and that's probably the similar go, eh?
Yeah.
But at the same time, probably nowhere near as good as this. Like that's my gut feeling. I mean, if we're talking about comparison Scotch,
I know.
That
it's
might
really
be
the
on the
only.
list.
Well, it's the only one really because it's the only one that's another American virgin oak. You know. What in the triple cast?
yeah, I'm just wondering about the Belvini triple cast there. 3 distinct. Okay, well that's not. But man, like the more I drink this, the more I'm like, wow. I am not disappointed in this one at all.
No.
Oh, look at those Arvegs up there, special days.
Looking ahead.
I know. The more I think about I'm really excited to try that Ugadale. Anyway, get off topic here, but okay. So there's nothing else that has that kind of a superior wood finish.
Not that features it
is on
in
us
that way.
in our bar here.
I mean, maybe the Lafroig triple wood when we get to it.
Okay. Hey,
But,
we're already getting into this topic, so
yeah.
let's talk about it. Let's go.
But I think that one is, I don't believe it's, and the 4 oak, the Lafroig 4 oak might be one that might fit the bill.
So 4 Oak and Auchentoshan are on the bill so far.
Yeah, this has virgin American oak as well. European oak hogshead,
Wow.
ex-bourbon barrels, and quarter cast along with virgin American oak. And I do recall that the one thing I enjoyed most about the 4 oak was a single distinctive characteristic that kind of exploded upward on the palate.
In an oaky sense?
Yeah, in a sort of
Wow.
like, so that's interesting.
Well, yeah, if those two are the only ones that we're talking about here, then I would probably default to the Lafroig because you know how you want to just try Lafroig.
You want to make it competitive, and you want to drink Lafroig, but the citrus combined with the fresh oak would probably be more suited to the Auchentoshan.
Well, yeah. At the same time, though, I see this one sitting in the middle. Like
Yeah.
you could go either way because this one I think would beat the Auchentoshan but lose to the Lafroig 4 Oak. That's my gut feeling, but I don't know. It's nice to put it up against something to, it says a lot to the Glenmorangie Tarlogan that
Glenmorangie.
What did I call it?
Glenmorangie.
Oh, did I?
You did
I
it.
said it. So I'm okay.
possible.
I knew it. No.
Interchangeable.
That's the way I'm saying it.
That's it, eh?
I think so. No. I'm not going to change my mind. I'm just saying I'm always saying it wrong. So I would say the 4 Oak.
You think so, eh?
Don't you think? I mean, because you want to look for something that can knock it off. You don't want to look for something that can just sort of keep up with it.
The problem with the 4 Oak is it's going to be Isla-y. It's going to, it's going to be more in that
That ain't
world.
no problem?
No, it's not a problem.
You said the problem with.
I know. It's like I'd almost be up for like a little tiny Auchentoshan and then a little tiny 4 Oak.
Well, it is Robbie Burns night, so we could break the rules.
We could break the rules this
But
evening.
then if we do that, then we've got to have a Robbie Burns too, just cause.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, whether that's on the podcast or not, we're
Well, you know what?
certainly going to have one.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. It's not the same family, but I want to try it again because of that, previous story that I told you that I was like, oh, this is not as good as I thought it was. But then I would put it up against this just, I might throw that in there just cause. It's Robbie Burns night. We could throw the Robbie Burns in there too. So there's our 3, right?
Yeah. So
All right.
choose one out of the 3?
Yeah, I guess we have to.
Yeah, we probably do.
But I still want to have a Robbie Burns at least at some point.
Absolutely.
Just a small one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so that's cool. They're great options. It's not like we're short of options here.
No.
But I just want to have one more scan. Like, what is the? I know we didn't do that one. I should just leave it there. Not open.
No.
Yeah. What is the Macallan though? Really, is it just sherry cask? That's a big highlight.
It's like a lot sweeter, yeah. Yeah, it was nice, but it was like.
I know, but this is nice too. But like, it's not.
This is more.
It's a nice in a sweet way, I guess, is what I should have followed that up with.
Yeah, the Macallan, you mean, or
No. This Glenmorangie.
I don't find it particularly sweet.
Did I say it right there? Morangie.
Morangie, yeah.
Morangie.
I find it sweet on the nose and then more like rough and ready in the mouth. You know, like more of a like. All right, we're really doing it. You know. Like on the nose, there's a lot of vanilla and
it's
honey
nice.
Citrus.
Like vanilla is never a bad flavor.
No,
is it?
It's always that like whatever. I'm not sure what creates that.
Like just saturated sugar, thick sugar.
Yeah,
like dripping. You can see the crystals still in it, but it's liquid form. Yeah. Oh, it is. It's a good Scotch. It's a shame it's it's so expensive, and it won't be available at any point in time.
Well, who knows what the expense really is? Because if you're, it's really difficult to.
I love that. I really like.
You love
that.
it, eh?
I don't know. I got to try something else to
Better
get
than
my
a
head
three?
out of that.
Better than a 3?
Well, no, not because of the price. But
but again, we don't know what the price is.
It's a solid 3. What do you mean?
Availability
you don't know what the price is?
Well, because I think we got it for about $80.
$80?
Yeah,
$80 Canadian?
But from Beijing on duty free.
But what is the downside? It's
Limited
only
edition.
700.
700 mils. Yeah.
750. Yeah.
Only 700. It's not 750.
No, 700 milliliters.
Yeah.
Centiliters, 70 centiliters. Right. So 43. At least they went 43 with it. Like, why did they take that one up? Why would they take that one up and not the other one? You know, that bugs me. Because if you're already that good, I mean, then it comes down to that, I'm just going to be cheap. We're going to cheap out here a little bit.
Well, the Glenmorangie original is affordable, though. It's about $70.
Yeah, it's actually exactly 70.
Yeah.
I just checked, that was on that list, too. It's $69.99 in Canada, not including taxes.
Right.
So that's a reasonable price. But if it was 43, it would be even better, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's going to be something we're going to have to do later on down the road. Test that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And who better to compare it with? But I wouldn't have said that the Glenmorangie tasted like this one.
No.
And I think we kind of already went over that. But
yeah.
I wouldn't have...
I think this has more, it's more muscular, more
yeah.
That wood creates a stronger character, and the mouthfeel seems to be prominent.
The mouthfeel is good.
Yeah, with a decent
Yeah.
finish. Like a decent, it does a good job on the finish without, it's not a, memorable finish. It doesn't, rank up with the great finishing whiskeys, but at least it has something, yeah.
So great finish, for me, is it just stays with you.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have to necessarily be good.
Tells a story after.
Although that helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, it tells a story after. That's
like the Lafroig 16 is quintessential finisher, where it just like...
Lagavulin or Lafroig?
Oh, excuse me, Lagavulin 16.
Lagavulin, yeah.
Has a great finish, like just off the charts.
No better.
No.
Yeah, it stays with you but so does Lafroig,
Well, it's a different finish.
It is a different finish, but it stays with you. Like what other? Like you go along the list here. So does Lachig.
Lachig has a good finish.
So does Arbeg. I mean, we haven't tested that one out, but the 10
Kalila has a good finish.
Kalila's got a great finish. The Kilchoman's got a great finish.
Great finish.
The Dalwhinnie has a great finish.
Yeah, it has a really nice finish.
It does.
Yeah.
And Talisker goes without saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of good finishing scotches.
Well, we need to decide here, Jonathan.
Okay, yeah, you're right. We should just get on with it. Between those two, my vote still goes for the Lafroig 4 Oak.
And you know what? I'm leaning towards the Auchentoshan because I just think it has more similarities to this one. It's more comparable. Whereas this one is like, we already know it's, kind of Lafroig-y.
But you said it had a nice wood flavor.
I know.
And I know the Auchentoshan did, but the Auchentoshan to me, first flavor that comes to mind is sort of a citrusy lemon.
You're right.
Not wood. And so the 4 Oak, I can't really remember that as well, but the 4 Oak had more of a woody flavor.
Yeah.
As far as I can remember. And you back that up too. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know if I would say more of a woody flavor, but I would certainly say it was the defining characteristic.
I like to think of it this way then. We would go, well, let's put this one up against a Champ. Let's go put him up against somebody like just one up in his
I
weight
would
class.
say that I would want to see. Well, and this is no champ. It was a 3-star
No.
Lafroig.
Yeah, but it's a Lafroig. Right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just saying,
yeah.
let's go.
Okay.
Let's put him up against a tougher one rather than like
I
punching.
think, happening at the same time might be really interesting.
Yeah.
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 I think they might Venn diagram in on the wood, but then bring out all sorts of things that could be quite good. So
it's settled.
it's settled.
Comparison. Scotch.
Lafroig 4 Oak.
4 Oak.
All right. Yeah, I'm excited about this.
And it's happening.
And the Lafroig 4 Oak is. I remember it being. Wait, did we We're just going to talk about this just really quickly, but as far as the select went,
Oh, yeah.
right? Did we like the select better? Did we not?
They became one after a while.
Ooh, really?
Remember?
Did we actually put it up against the select?
I think it was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think what ended up happening was they ended up just sort of complementing one another really nicely, and I think I do believe that the select sort of had a more overall character, like a more accepted overall, and the Lafroig 4 Oak had a shining moment, is what I recall from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, smell it though. I'm sorry. I
know,
peeked
I
a
already
smell.
did.
Oh, you can smell it as soon as you open it up, right?
It's
Wow.
I know.
It's
It's
as good as the smell and nose that one had.
No, this is like a whole-
This is like I
this
want
is
to
like-
drink this one. Yeah, that is a nice. That's
I
a
know,
good smell
I
too.
know.
I'm not. You know what? I'm really excited with that smell, and it smells great, and I'm really looking forward to tasting that. But the other smell was good too.
yeah. No, it was really
Should we
lovely.
just do a
Whereas-
flyby?
Sure. There's the vanilla.
Oh, but compared to the other one, it just doesn't have as much punch, does it?
No.
No, that one's got. I
Fuller,
smell the
more
wood in there
intense.
too.
Yeah.
I smell wood in this as opposed to this one, which there is no wood in the smell. But this one
Interesting.
does smell woody, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
I think you're
It's
right.
got a smoky, peaty, woody smell. It's
With
that
that-
biting on charcoal business.
And a little bit of seaweed, a little bit of, slippery, saltine seaweed,
Very inviting if you're an Isla fan.
If you
or
like it.
Islands, period.
Yeah.
Oh, that smells really good.
Yeah, it smells really good.
All right. Well, I'm afraid that just on the smell,
I know, it's just crushing it.
it is. It's crushing.
All right.
All right,
Here's
let's
to the 4 wood.
Interesting. It's surprising.
Not as dominant as you would think.
Not as exactly.
Yeah. Has a lot going on in the nose, and has a really, it's interesting because you can feel the Lafroig in your mouth in a different way.
Yeah.
But doesn't push the Tarlogan out entirely.
No, it doesn't. And
The
the finish
Tarlogan
is
almost
not,
has a sharper wood in
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
The finish is not quite as good either.
Not it doesn't
It doesn't
crush
stay
it.
with you.
No. I'd almost give the
For Lafroig, it disappears pretty quick.
I know.
Whew. It sort of beats it in the front end. It's sort of like this one fights really well in the first 3 rounds, and you're like, holy smokes, this fight's going to be over. And then you're like, well, maybe not. The Glenmorangie stays around for a little while. Takes a couple hits, rides it out to the end. Did you just go in for the other one? You're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Go ahead. What do you got?
Well, it's like the vanilla on the nose is accentuated after getting into the 4 wood. Yeah, the 4 wood is it's so fronting. It's like, I'm here, I'm a Lafroig, I've got this. And then, like you say, when you bring it in, the nose is just,
Yeah, it just beats it up front. It's like it's a well-dressed scotch, but there's not much underneath the suit.
They do taste nice together, though.
Do they? So
Yeah.
what did you do? What was your process?
Well, I've just been working them a bit.
Okay, but smelling and tasting?
Yeah.
Weird. That is an interesting test, isn't it?
Yeah. They're neutralizing one another a little bit now.
Yeah.
The Lafroig isn't quite so...
Oh, you still smell the Lafroig in the back end.
For
though.
sure.
There is a it's a familiar smell. It's like it's a warm, fuzzy smell.
Yeah,
It's like going home,
yeah.
sort of like it beats it in the smell.
But there is something in the Tarlogan that I love, which
It's
is
a warm, sugary smell.
in that, yeah, it's a vanilla high note that is just really nice. But now it's almost isolated. It's almost all by itself, that one thing. Whereas before I had honey, you know, wood and vanilla. Now I only have vanilla. And whereas when I go to the
This
Lafroig,
is spicy vanilla, though. There's some little bit of fierceness that'll fight with the Lafroig.
yeah,
But yeah, it's not as. Which one are you trying there? This is a new one. Lafroig.
Lafroig.
Mm-hmm. The Lafroig tastes so good until you kind of swallow it.
Yeah, the Tarlogan it actually has a better finish. It definitely is more, it has more experience on the back of the finish.
It totally does.
It's crazy. I would never have thought that.
Well, what do you call? Is this a draw? Is this, what do you call it? Decision?
I don't think it's a draw or a decision. I think it's two whiskeys interacting to create a whole different experience, you know?
So I'm glad we went with the Lafroig because it was like punching up, and we gave it a chance, and it seems to be
holding.
yeah,
holding pretty good.
It's not a clear cut decision for me. I mean, of course, if we had the 10, it would be no competition because the 10 is going to finish better. And
totally.
If the Lafroig Forog finished like the 10 at all, even in its essence, like with the whole sort of woody essence going on, it would still be better. But it's not.
It's not.
It is not the same. So, really quickly, what is the difference in price between this and the 10? Do we know that? Do we, like, because
the
that's
4
important.
oak and the 10?
Yeah. It's more expensive, right?
The 4 oak?
The 4 oak's more expensive.
No,
it must be.
Again, it's a travel expression thing, though. So you get this like odd pricing where you get it duty free, and it's difficult to actually.
But it's a 1 liter, isn't it?
It's a 1 liter, but I think we actually got this for, again, about $80 or $85.
For a 1 liter, so it's
from Beijing.
It's pretty comparable then.
It's comparable,
it's
a way better deal
than the 10.
Yeah.
Well, it's not as good as the 10, so the 10 is still a better deal. But
it's just a really good deal.
Yeah, it's got
bringing it back from Beijing at that price.
Oh yeah, never.
And then having a liter.
I'm glad we have it, and I'm glad we've tried it.
Well, the 4X only 40%.
That's right.
Yeah, so maybe that's where it falls down.
That is
maybe
a shame.
that little tiny bit.
What are they thinking?
I know. No,
that is a disappointment.
It is. It is. Because, like, you can only imagine, like, because there's a bit of mouthfeel, there's some things happening.
Yeah.
And then, but the fadeaways, like, it's like it shouldn't fade away. It shouldn't
Fadeaway
fade
jumpers.
away if you're a Lafroig.
No.
You should stand out.
That is a bit of a shame. And that's, you know what? So if we can base it on just finish, then the Glenmorangie Morangie makes a better case.
Yeah.
You know? Isn't
on
that
this
weird?
particular bottle, I know. You never would have thought that.
Never would have thought that. Oh well, hey, great stuff. That's fantastic. It's now I think like really want to try the 10, but it's almost a shame that the Tarlogan is not going to be around.
No, I know. Yeah, the Tarlogan is really quite good.
Gee whiz, I never would have thought that.
And the more I drink, I just did another one where I was like almost not sure what I was drinking. So it was like I didn't even know as I went in, and as soon as I sipped this, I was like, this is way more like poof. Like the way it comes through on the back end of the palate and the finish and the drink down, it has a way more. It's just way more present than the Lafroig 4 Oak.
You know, and the last sip I just had, it's good up front too. You know, it goes in and it pronounces itself and it's effective, and it stays strong the whole way. I mean, that could just be the 40 and 43% talking. But case in point, just make it 43.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just
or
do
higher, right?
Yeah.
Don't fart around. Don't water it down to 40. Because I forget who said it, but somebody said it's like if you actually hit a number, you're probably making it go there. I mean, anything under 43.
Right.
But
name a 40% alcohol by volume single malt whiskey that's
top notch.
yeah, that's like worthy. Sometimes Lafroig 10 is bottled at 40. You've mentioned that if you get a 1 liter or something.
Yeah, it's true. That's a bummer. But Lafroig 10 is so strong that it almost doesn't matter. Like I'm not somebody who's going to be able to tell that because it's so good. Like I imagine that even maybe the Lagavulin 16, if watered down to a 40, would probably still be good. But I'm glad they don't.
Yeah. Well, and then you can only imagine what if it was at 46? Would that be better, or is it just like perfectly in the pocket?
I think it's in the pocket, man.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
for me, it is
Yeah, I
because
know.
we had the 25. Remember, I know you don't remember it, but I brought it back from Scotland. We had the 25, and it was, I can't remember what the percentage was, but it was higher than the 43. And it tasted like Lagavulin, but really strong.
Right.
It was still really good, but in my mind, I'm like, not as good as that, even though that's really expensive.
This is more drinkable.
It was about 3 times the cost of the 16, but not worth it. You know, that's how I viewed it,
on
so.
aggregate. And
Yeah.
back in
Yeah.
2000 and whatever. Right?
2008
Early
or something.
2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
It's up in the Highlands, and that's kind of cool. I like where it is geographically. It's sort of on the coastline. I always love things on the coastline because we love the islands, right?
Totally.
Like there's just something about the sea that comes into it. Maybe not particularly in this Scotch, but it doesn't matter. It's just nice knowing that it's right on the coast.
Yeah.
And it's on the other side of where most of the islands are, and it's tucked away. I love it. All right, moving on to the next segment.
Quote of the night.
Tonight's quote is by Winston Churchill. "The water was not fit to drink. To make it palatable, we had to add whiskey. By diligent effort, I learned to like it."
Nice.
So what is he talking about there? He's just like, it is a bit cocky, like, not cocky, but it's sarcastic, right?
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I'm reading it. So I'm thinking, like, you know, it's really not that bad of a drink. It didn't take long for me to really appreciate it.
Well, I mean, the question is, what water were they drinking? You know, like, where were they that the water was so difficult to palate? And
So, like, somewhere inside of Europe?
well, who knows, right? I mean, you can only imagine, you know. But
Well,
the point is that
If he fought on the First World War, it was probably from then.
it could have been. It could have been.
It was probably from one of his letters back to somebody.
It's possible.
Yeah.
So, but one way or the other, they learn to. Well, what he's basically saying is that they're drinking whiskey anyhow.
Yeah.
And
It's-
they could power through whatever.
Yeah.
As a result of, you know, having stores of whiskey to keep them moving along.
Yeah, it's like a means to sustenance. Like, that's how you survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... But it is Scotch and water. Okay, let's not talk about the... Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? There's a downside to it too, right?
To watering down whiskey?
Yeah.
Or to,
So what kind of whiskey do you think he was drinking if he had to put water into it? So it sounds like you could look at it like, well, the water wasn't fit to drink, so we had to add whiskey. But the whiskey, you know, didn't taste good on its own, you know, so we put it with other stuff.
Well, that's possible.
Or do you think he's avoiding that? Maybe he's just saying, like, I learned to like it, meaning that's all I drank.
Yeah. Well, it is a bit ambiguous,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't know if he's really talking about the whiskey or the water in the end. Mm-hmm. But one way or the other, it became what they did to carry through. So really what we need to know is the context. And unfortunately, this quote doesn't allow us to understand that. We can only use our imaginations to wonder if it's like in the trenches of the First World War, if he's on some sort of safari in southern Africa or what. Mm-hmm. One way or the other, we do know he's traveling with whiskey. And, you know, no matter what, that's part of their daily staple is taking their whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It sounds like they're drinking a lot of whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And it probably was World War I. And I mean, you can't blame soldiers for you know, storing up a bunch of whiskey to drink. When you're
Making
out there.
do.
Like, yeah, yeah.
Trying to make the most of a difficult situation.
Well, because whiskey does enhance. Like we've talked about this before, right? I mean, can you imagine being a soldier and then, I mean, wouldn't it be great to have a little bit of whiskey with you, at least to enjoy that?
Totally.
All the different flavors, you know, even besides that, just like the feeling it gives you when you have a little bit of whiskey, you know, after a day of trying to just stay alive.
Slogging it out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Assuming that it was from his days in war.
Yeah. Well, and I think, you know, for me, it starts to, it kind of makes me think about why I enjoy Scotch on the Rocks and why I enjoy drinking in that way, where it's
To
just
excuse the water.
yeah, where you just like you involve the water and the ice into the whiskey, and it totally changes your experience.
It does.
It's more of a I don't quite know
More
what
of
it
a
is.
gulp than a sip.
Yeah, more of like
Yeah.
you're drinking more so than tasting.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just sort of like necessary at the end
Well,
of the day.
yeah, but I mean, like everybody likes a good kind of spritzer, you know, with maybe just water or like carbonated water with a little bit of flavor in it. Like, and so the Scotch happens to be the flavor in that sense, instead of a twist of lemon or lime.
Yeah.
I think, you know, that's exactly what it tastes like to me, but in a different direction, and that's why I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah, I know it's
Never thought I would, because I thought so little of blends, but I see like there's more of an open door where you should drink the single malts just completely straight. Blends, water, ice, but make sure it's cold.
Yeah.
You know, and then you'll have an enjoyable drink.
totally.
Because it is sort of scotchy, but it's a different drink altogether.
It is. Yeah, I when I'm around the campfire in the summertime, I always call them Scotchertons. Where it's like I have a ridiculously large glass, shoveled full of ice.
Yeah.
And I like pour in 3 ounces and
Yeah.
just like slosh it around for a
Yeah.
little while until it all becomes this new type of thing. And then you just sort of sip it back slowly and surely over the course of an hour. And you drink like 3 ounces, and it's a lot of whiskey, but when you're drinking it that way, it doesn't seem like a lot of whiskey.
Yeah.
And again, you're not adding Coca-Cola and
No.
other things, so it doesn't get you like out of your comfort zone too much. Like it's just a really enjoyable way to drink.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's like that acquired taste for those sort of adult flavors, like maybe like olives. I always go to olives because I could see why somebody wouldn't like olives, but once you learn to love them, right? It's an acquired thing, and it takes time.
Yeah.
Once you love that flavor, that's you kind of crave it. You're like, oh, it's a really sort of educated flavor. It's got more to it than most stuff does. It's kind of in essence, it may be like just the peat flavor that I like. People that like olives probably like peat.
Yeah.
But it's that dark flavor.
Yeah,
It's a dark, rich flavor. Musky, smoky,
Yeah.
peaty.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Well, it has that oily,
Thick flavoring.
thick, oily flavor too.
Yeah.
That kind of like it's sort of comforting in a strange way,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I crave other alcohols and other, cocktails from time to time, but I mean, I find that like Scotch on the Rocks kind of does the trick for almost any situation.
Completely, because like think about if you had to, because I've done it too. The other night I did just like a rum on ice, same style. You pour it in, you fill the glass up with ice, you pour it in. Nowhere near as good as Scotch on the Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not. It was just too sweet.
Yeah, too much sugar, too much up front in that way.
It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't. Like if I had a choice, yeah.
Yeah, well,
I'm
you
going
can't
with the
like
Scotch.
drain it the same way you do a Scotch, right?
Yeah, it's smaller sips.
Yeah,
that's
smaller
true.
sips, and like whiskey on the rocks, or a Scotch on the rocks, just sort of, I don't know, it just flows differently.
Yeah, it's a more refined experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So back to like, I guess we're kind of done with the quote now.
Well,
we
shoveled
veered
through.
off. Okay, that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what more we can add other than it would be nice to know exactly where Winston Churchill was
Yeah.
when he said that, and why the water was poor, and learning to like it, meaning tongue in cheek. I
Yeah.
think it appears to be quite tongue-in-cheek.
But I think like it would probably be evident that kind of quote when he was talking about it when we were, it's sort of in his mind it happened in the past, you know, and he's talking about. I think he's clearly talking about war, because you would imagine that war, if being in a war, it would be hard to get water, right?
Yeah.
If you're walking around, you're probably going to get it from the rivers, you know, like where else are you going to get it from? Especially in World War One, right? That would be it. So I'm assuming that it probably was from the war.
I tend toward that too.
Yeah.
Where I just sort of assume that
If he did
as a younger
indeed
man,
fight, yeah.
you know, doing, you know, grinding it out and, you know, dealing with those conditions and coming up with some sort of creature comforts through their whiskey.
Yeah.
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 And again,
by diligent effort.
Well,
It
yeah,
is kind of
by
funny.
diligent effort,
Yeah.
like night after night, we
Yeah,
kept up the whiskey drinking with the water.
Learn to love it.
And eventually, we found something in there that we, you know, was ours in that moment and became our little culture that sustained us through those hard times. You know?
So what if that was his truth?
Well, that it resonates.
It's totally different.
Yeah,
though.
well, I mean, yeah, except, you know, I guess that it speaks to the love of whiskey on a certain level where, you know, you can do without many things in life at this point after acquiring these tastes, but one that you probably can't do without is whiskey, right? Is Scotch whiskey, and you know, whether it be blended or single malt.
Well, which was probably like back then. Like if you know, you look around at the dates on all these bottles, and you know they're in the 1800s, some of them, and so World War I happened. You know, after that, so they could have been drinking good stuff.
They could have been, but I still believe by the early 20th century that the majority of the export, like at that time, they had gotten into the bigger, like it wasn't about single malt so much. It was more about blends, and at that time.
So it hadn't been refined. Like, when do you think that refining point was then?
The refining point
being... When did Lagavulin really become Lagavulin? Like, even though it was, I can't even remember.
Yeah.
What is
well,
it,
I mean, it is
it's a
19th century whiskey. It's like 18 something or other when it was.
Yeah.
But
1819?
I mean, it's a good question, you know, and honestly, I don't have the knowledge to answer it. But
1816, Lagavulin. So they were like 100 years making whiskey, 100 years before World War I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what were they doing with
100
that whiskey?
years, though.
Was that whiskey just being served as single malt whiskey, or was it being, you know, exported off Islay into...
That's a great question.
You know, this is the thing. Like, and we've had this discussion before where it's like, I know that whiskey's popularity was, you know, it was ridden on the backs of blended whiskeys. Like, that's where they did the majority of the selling, was by gathering up single malts from various places and putting them together, and then...
But Lagavulin was Lagavulin.
Yes. Well, and that's
So what does that mean? It's
know.
a great question. Like, let's just close up here. Like, I mean, the Glenmorangie. Glenmorangie?
Glenmorangie.
More. So there's more to this bottle than you would suspect.
Well, think of it more of Glenmorangie, like an orange. Glenmorangie.
Okay. Glenmorangie.
Glenmorangie, yes.
Glenmorangie.
Yeah, the Tarlogan.
Pretty good Scotch all around. Like,
pretty darn good.
If you have a chance to try this Scotch out, give it a shot.
Give it a go. Yeah.
I would. Now that I know it, if I see it in a bar and you know the options are few, I mean there's still that. There's still that sort of. You know, it's not going to go up against the top 10.
No,
but
not even close.
Good Scotch.
But a really good Scotch.
Yeah, really good Scotch.
Doing
Enjoyable.
something different and doing it quite well.
Yeah, having that sweet element and not going over the top and just being too sweet.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, tempered by the wood.
Mm-hmm.
And
the wood is beautiful.
And a nice finish. And a decent mouthfeel.
Really good.
Decent all the way around.
Decent. Well, Gordy.
Well, Johnny.
Another night.
Another night. So where are we heading?
Where are we heading? I guess that's sort of like
a fortnight from now. What do we do?
Okay, what we've got coming up
is
something that definitely should be kept where it is the Auban Little Bay.
Oh,
I'm really looking forward to that one, actually. That is exciting.
Very exciting.
Because this is one of those scotches for me that when I tried even there's, what is it? A staple, like it's like a 14.
14.
Yeah, it's a
The
14.
14
So
is
it's kind
in
of
the
odd,
classic
right?
malt series.
Yeah, kind of a different date than most of them, and I like that. But I remember not really like being overwhelmed by it. I remember not being shocked. I'm like, ugh. But you know, coming off the Tarlogan, I'm thinking like, why not?
Why not? Anything could just like change your whole palate experience and open up a whole new avenue of excitement and interest and a whole new place to begin to compare other whiskeys from.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's face it, I mean, even the worst, like Strathilas are like whooping dog, but even that is like, it's still decent to drink.
Well,
I mean, you wouldn't turn it down if you were in a trench in World War One.
No, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
way to bring it back around.
Yeah, so it's sort of like, you know, like you have to respect that it's still a decent whiskey.
It's a whiskey.
It's a whiskey. Period. Yeah, and it gives you that experience. And
indeed,
you know, so they all have something.
That's true. All you people that watch us, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Please comment.
It's nice to see.
Give us your feedback. We love it and appreciate it. It's very encouraging.
Well, keep enjoying your Scotch, Gordy, and we'll catch you in
a fortnight.
Thank
you, Johnny.
Thank you.
The Wee Dram.
The Wee Dram. Tarlogan.
An excellent
You think
whiskey.
It's Tarlogan. There's a Tarlogan at Glenmorangie.
The Glenmorangie Tarlogan. Might be. We don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.